Hello, my name is Phoenix Starwater. Just for the teacher to note, I may still be under you as Samantha McLaughlin. I'm from Shop 11, and I'll be talking to you about the art of Angora, how it's processed from the raw, spun, and basically what it will be as a finished object. So Clara Parks is one of our knitting rock stars. She's very well known in the fiber community. And she once said, because we lack sufficient financial clout to establish a permanent place for learning, we have this traveling circus of experts who roam from town to town, event to event, squeaky-wheeled suitcases of samples in tow. I can't think of a better way to describe the tradition of fiber from one generation passing it on to another without much pomp and performance, just a person to a person. I have been a part of the fiber community for about 20 years. I've been teaching for at least 10 years on various fiber crafts. I've chosen to do Angora today just because I could talk on this forever, and that limits it a little bit. And also, I have an Angora rabbit. So I'll be talking about the raw fiber from the rabbit to processing and how you would spin it to the application of fiber and the knit components. This here is Fafnir. She's a beautiful English Angora, English satin cross Angora, and she's very gentle and friendly. You can see her fiber here. I actually clipped her just a few weeks ago before the heat wave, and she's grown back this much already. But she's a great little producer, and I actually have two of them. They do better in pairs. So Angoras are misconstrued as being treated very poorly to acquire their fiber. If you look at popularist websites, they will tell you that Angora is a horrible product, you should never buy it. But in reality, if the animal is being treated poorly, it's not going to produce fiber. And if anybody's using Angora for a profit, they're going to want the animals to produce fiber, so they're going to treat them better. You do not need to kill the animal or hurt the animal or tie them down or anything to acquire their fiber. That's a myth. And it's been proven that some of the leaked videos have been staged to make it look like the animal's being hurt, when in reality, they're very docile. They love being combed. They love being, like, I use scissors to clip off the fiber. They love that attention. It's just like any other pet. The Angora itself feels like a cloud when you're holding it. It's very lightweight, very warm. It's just a wonderful feeling in your hands. They originally came from Turkey. Our first real historical evidence of Angora being used is in France in the 1700s from a boat manifest saying that they were being imported from Turkey. From France, they spread all over Europe and have become very popular for their warmth and drape ever since. From the raw animal, what you would do is, sorry, she's chewing on things. From the raw animal, what you would do is you would use a couple of different tools to process it into a spinnable fiber. These are combs, and basically what you would do is you would insert fiber into one side and then just literally just comb it like you would your hair, and that'll break up the fiber, take out some of the dirt and just like junk that animals will get into their fur. You can also use carders. I don't have any of those to show you. I got rid of them a while ago because I don't use them very often. Hackles are used to blend fiber together, that's what this looks like. It just looks like a bigger form of the comb. This clamps down onto a table, and then you use the comb to blend different types of fibers together. Like if you wanted to blend Angora into wool, that'll make it stretch, last longer. This would be a good way to do that. It's also a good way to blend different colors if you have dyed colors that you want to blend together. So then what you would do is, honestly for Angora, hand picking or carding is best. Again, I don't have carders, I don't usually use them. I hand pick, which is just literally pulling apart the fiber by hand and letting all of the dirt fall through your fingers while you're separating it. And then you have like ready to spin fiber. And that would be the more ancient method of preparing the fiber. Once you have that done, you can choose to spin on either a supported or a drop spindle. This is a drop spindle. Angora would have been more traditionally done on a supported spindle, just because it has a much smaller staple. And basically all you're doing is you're adding twist as you're pulling the fiber apart. So I'm twisting down at the base, and I'm just pulling the fiber apart and letting it catch. There we go. And then you end up with yarn. This is called a single, and singles just literally mean the raw form to one single thread. Adding the twist to the fiber strengthens it greatly. Obviously this you can just pull apart. This you're going to have a harder time. Plying will give you even more of a harder time to pull it apart, so it'll stand up to more wear and tear. Once you're done with that, you can choose to dye your yarn. A lot of household dyes that are used today are onion skins, produce a beautiful like golden soft yellow. Dandelions will produce yellow, green, or red. They're very useful. And one of the more modern, like very popular ones to do right now is Kool-Aid. You can get Kool-Aid in all kinds of different colors, and it's a very popular one for like different indie dyes, basically. Angora is used in fiber mainly for drape and warmth. Warmth because it has amazing thermal properties that's greater than wool even. It will give you a lot more warmth. It's not as known for cooling, although anytime you have a thermal property, it can be used to both warm and cool. But in this case, Angora is generally used in warm garments. Drape, because it doesn't have a whole lot of crimp to it, doesn't have a lot of curl to the fiber. So it's just a lot more hanging, right? If you have someone with curly hair and you pull on their hair, it's going to spring right back. But someone with straight hair, it's not going to do anything. It's the same property for wool and Angora. Angora doesn't really do anything. It doesn't curl back, which is a huge benefit for things like shawls and sweaters, which would be the best form and function of Angora fiber, would be a shawl or a sweater, because then you utilize both the warmth and the drapes, the beautiful hanging properties. Environmentally, I think Angora rabbits are a beautiful way to go. They produce cold composted manure, which means that you don't have to wait months. You can put it directly onto your garden. It's not harmful for humans. Like some manure has to be hot composted just to get rid of like harmful bacterias that could affect your garden later on, the food that you're consuming out of your garden. Angora doesn't have that. So you can literally take all of their bedding with all of their manure and go throw it out onto your garden right away, and that would be a really great use of it. They don't take up a lot of space, they don't eat a whole lot, it's just hay, so they're a really great environmental choice, because everything can be used for the length of their life. So just to review, we saw the raw form off of Fafnir, and we saw the drop spindles and the different tools used to process, and the finished objects would be shawls and sweaters. I don't have one right now, I just gave one away. So if you wanted to start learning about how to knit, how to spin, all of that kind of thing, a good resource is Ravelry.com, Ravelry. It's basically social media for fiber artists. You can find some of the groups there and find someone to teach you, or you can go to a local knit shop. We have Knit Together in Silverdale. It's Old Town Silverdale. The owner's very nice. She'll be sweet and pair you up with somebody if she has someone right now. I believe she is doing knitting lessons right now. Another good resource is this year is going to be the Nordic Knitting Conference. That happens up in like just outside of Seattle every 2 years, and they have great lessons on anything that you could think of: beginners knitting, spinning, dyeing. If you just want to have like a one-off, I'd like to learn how to dye yarn, you know, you can just go for that one class, take an hour, and get to play with some color. All right, so thank you very much for your consideration. Goodbye.